At this point, we're ready to do our array. So if I go back to my home tab, and instead of using a rectangular array or a circular polar array, I'll use a path array. Now, it's going to ask me to select an object, which is my stair, so forth, and it's asking me to select a path, which will be my helix. Now, it probably might be different from what you see in your screen, but that's alright. So we're going to adjust it right here. So right now it's specifying what is the in-between, and the in-between will be, I believe it was 2. Oh, no, sorry, that was wrong. Let me check. Actually, I have to apologize. What I realized is our helix is not correct in shape. You can see it turns too fast. So we're going to have to delete that, and we're going to have to redraw it. It's a simple step, but these two things do happen. So helix, select the center point to the quadrant again, and it's going upwards. It's alright. We're going to fix that. And what we want to do is the turn heights. We want to change the turn heights to be the height of our physical people walking up the stairs. So we can't have it less than 90 inches. So we did turn height and 64 right now, which was incorrect. So we're going to put in 90. And the next step would be typing in the height, which is actually 192, which is correct. So we can type in 192 and so forth. So we're going to have to move it down. It's easy. I'm using the move command, or you can use the blue Z coordinate and move it down 192 into position. And now since I'm not sure what this line is here. Hopefully that doesn't affect it. We have to rotate it so it matches with our stair. So we select the helix, we use the rotate command, we use the center point or end point of that item, and we're going to rotate it in a way so it starts, oh, doesn't really start there. That's alright, we can rotate it a little bit more. Either part the helix or the stair, it's up to you. I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees, negative 45. To get it to close, yeah, that looks about right. So the helix starts nearby where the stair does. And you can see there's a lot less turns, and you can physically walk up the stairs once we have it created. So now we can go back to our path array. We select our item, we select our helix. It looks something like this. We're going to change the in-between. I believe there will be 7, because it has to be 7 inches apart from top to the runner. So a razor should be 7 inches to fit to code, or somewhat to code, because I'm not sure what the actual specifications are. And in between, you don't want a spacing really. You can play around with these numbers to see what they do. I'm going to change that to 1. Something like this, but still extending over, so we're going to change not the levels. We're going to play around with these items until I have them correctly. Now, as I was playing with this, I came to the conclusion that I don't have to worry about the rows or levels. The most important part is the in-between. Now, the in-between, I moved it to 12, but I'm not sure if that's correct. So I have to go to our front view, and dimension out what the distance is. So to do that, I have to change my UCX. So if I go to my view, I change my UCX to, instead of world, I'm using the front. If the front one is not correct, it's alright. You guys can change it around, decide which one when you see both X and Y coordinates. This helps establish the dimensions. I go to annotate. I go into my dimensions. If you don't have your dimensions, you can just hit one of these and you'll see that linear is the option that you're looking for. And from the top of the runner to the top of the other runner, I'm checking the distance. It's 5 right now. It's not quite what I want. I want 7. So I'm going to select the helix, the array path. It's going to give me back to its option of changing it. So I'm going to change this to, let's say, 18. 18 gives me 7.7, which is not quite what I need. I'm looking for a 7, so I'm going to go a little bit lower. 16. Okay, 16 even, or maybe 25. There we go. That is about perfect. This is, so we have something like this. I'm going to delete this dimension. I no longer need it. You can see that the setup, it looks nice. You can make each step. There is no interference in between, so if you have your feet here, you won't have the risk of hitting the top one before you put your foot on top. Alright, so we have this. It kind of looks like a DNA strand at the same time. And what we need to do next is give it support. It's being supported by the rod in the middle, the 3.5-inch rod, but also we need to create a support on the outside, which will use the helix. Now when we're going to use the sweep command, and we're going to use the shape to follow this helix. I'm going to have to go back and change my UCX to, instead of front, I'm going to go back to top, or you can do it to world. I believe world will work too. And we're going to create a rectangle. We go to our home tab, go to our rectangle command. There we go, rectangle. And you're going to select a point anywhere in this area, and you're going to type in D for this dimensions. It's going to be about 1 by 6. Again, you can change that whatever you prefer. But it got moved really far. That's the only thing about working in 3D models, is sometimes you draw things and they just go really far away from your drawing. But it's okay. We select that item. I'm going to use the move command. Move it a bit closer to my work. Put it right here. Snap it to my quadrant. Now, my helix starts here, my items is here. Do not worry. Using sweep command, you don't have to worry about that. It's going to select the item, it's going to follow the path no matter where the path is. Now, it may be, the only problem is it's in the wrong rotation, so you might have to rotate it. I'll give you an example. I'll make a copy of this. One is rotated this way, and the other one will be rotated this way. So we have something like that. And I'll show you both examples. So we're going to go to, instead of extrude, we're going to go down to sweep. We're going to select the first item. Select sweep object, we just did. It's asking if you want to select any more. No, that'll be all. So I click space or enter. And then we select this path, sweep path, which is the helix. Follows like that. This is not what I'm looking for because it doesn't really support. I mean, it does support, but it doesn't give the support I'm looking for. What I was looking for, which if I undo, would be the other rectangle, which is this one. So I'm going to go back to sweep, select this rectangle, and select the path. That's the one I was looking for. Now it's not quite aligned. That's alright, I just have to move it up. So I'm going to select the object, or actually I have to move it down. Might be a little small issue here, but that's alright. We'll figure this out once we get farther in. Alright, I'm going to move it up. That way it actually fits with the item. I'm going to do, it looks like a 2.75. Yes. So you can see that the actual stairs are connected to this exterior channel for support. It really looks like DNA. And we have it's supported in the center with the cylinder. I prefer not using union because this is, if I do make a mistake, it's going to be hard to repair. We have something like this. So the next step will be to close it out at the bottom. And, well, depending on how the floor is set out, you may want to extend it or not. Now there's a few different ways you can do that. You can draw in the helix and go up and then add some more material. Or if you believe that this floor is actually perfect, and it's actually the floor of the cylinder is the correct size. I'll show you an example of what I mean. Gonna create a rectangle. Oh, that's correct. I'm in the wrong UCX. So I'm going to change that first. To do that, I go back to View, go from World to, let's say, Front. Yeah, Front could work. And I'm going to go back to drawing a rectangle. And let's say I don't have an actual thickness to my floor. I'm just going to put that for a reference. And I'm going to rotate it, that way it matches with the stairs. Rotate. But, okay, ortho off, I'm going to match it this way too, for simplicity. Don't need that rectangle, delete it. So let's say my floor starts there, and there's this metal piece here that I actually don't need. If I want to cut it straight to match with the floor, what I can do is go to this view, any view actually that shows me the floor as shown here, or at any angle, and we're going to use the slice command, which is right here. Slice command, you're going to select the object you are slicing, which is this, enter, and you're going to slice it by using the center point or any quadrant of the floor or endpoint. Make sure your ortho is on because you want a straight cut. And here is what I sliced. I selected it on the wall, on the empty space, and it created a line cutting it into two pieces. So in case you wanted it to be smoothly done like so, you can do that. I'm going to leave it there to see if I need it or not later on. Okay, so our next step would be to do the bottom, which would be you can use the extrude surface, extrude face is an option, which allows you to select the face and you can extrude it. You just type in a distance of about 6. Oh, and that's not enough. I'm going to do it one more time. And I'm going to do another 6. Perfect, because that's where my floor begins. Oh, almost perfect. Just to play it safe, I'm going to do it one more time. So now it's perfect. Now again, I go to a view where I can slice it. So I use the slice command, I select the object, and I use the reference line. See, I'm drawing the line, that's where it's going to slice it. This time I'm going to remove it. And here we go. We actually have a nice design for our spiraling staircase. Now, when I specified the helix width of the part, it was, I believe, 90 inches. So from here to here is about 90 inches. So if somebody is taller than 90 inches, this would not be benefit. This would not work for him. But if you're lower than 90, which most people are, what is 90 inches? That's 7.5 feet. I don't think there's anybody as tall as that. So that should fit everybody that you know. Next step will be the balusters and the rail. I'll show that in just a minute in the next little video.